I'd paid off my credit cards and I started saving. Hello, Jade here from the Rawsome Truth. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that I have never spoken about before. Shopping addiction. You're probably thinking, what has that got to do with anything? Well, my channel is, one of the things that I talk about on my channel is addictions. And I myself had an extensive shopping addiction. I want to talk to you about how it got so bad and how it got completely out of control, and how I've overcome this addiction to getting down to living a minimalist life, and basically I'm down to a suitcase. So let's see how it started. I think for me, part of it had been there, I think, most of my life, but only when I look back. But it was more to do with buying lollies and things like that. I was always a little bit of wanting, these kind of foods and whatever. But I don't know if that was my food addiction or my shopping addiction. As I got older, I fell pregnant with my son and I became addicted to buying a lot of baby clothes. I was buying lots and lots of baby clothes. I can remember my mum having a heart attack thinking, oh my God, I hope this baby's a boy. We didn't even know the sex of my baby, and I had bought so many boys' clothes. It was ridiculous. I did find out the sex of my daughter when I was pregnant with her, but yet again, the same pattern, bought a lot of clothing. I wasn't really into buying a lot for myself at this point in time, and I really wasn't into buying a lot of household items or anything like that. That started to evolve as I got older and I sort of had a little bit more access to funds. So as I got older, I'd start to buy things, and I'd notice if I felt bad or I didn't feel good on this particular day, I would go and buy something from the shop and it made me feel better temporarily. But it only slowly but surely it started to get worse and worse until it was completely out of control. And when I say completely out of control, I had my bedroom and I had my chest of drawers and 2 bedside tables, and they were all full of clothing. But that's not all. I had a spare bedroom full of clothing racks, like a shop of clothing, and I had drawers full of clothing and boxes full of clothing and bags full of clothing, and it was just ridiculous how much I owned. And not everything was cheap clothing that I bought at Target. I was buying designer clothing. We had a shop called Q, which everything's made in Australia, and dresses were like $200 and $300 each, and I was buying them. Sometimes I'd buy 2 in a week. Like, I would spend a massive chunk of my wage on clothing. And twice in a year, 6 monthly, annually, twice in a year, I actually won awards from Q of being the best, in the top 20 best buyers, not just in the state, in the country. I'm talking better than people in Sydney and Melbourne, where the fashion capitals, and I was buying an extensive amount of clothing, and you name it, I had it. And I could never make decisions on things. So, if I saw a red dress, I'd have to buy a red one, a yellow one, a black one, whatever. I couldn't make decisions. It was always great if only one particular colour came out of, something, because I didn't have to make those choices. Little by little, my addiction to Q sort of stopped, and then I started up in a Lorna Jane, a sporting brand. I was buying lots of sporting clothing. It was just, I can't even explain to you how ridiculous it was. And shoes, I think we counted before we got rid of them all. I had something like 360 pairs of shoes. I mean, who needs that many shoes? 366 pairs of shoes. I mean, seriously, one for every day of the year. How ridiculous. I mean, that's just insanity. It was insane. Like, I was at a point where I was buying so much clothing that I wasn't wearing it. And this was all to do with my depression. For those who follow me, you probably know that I've had addiction issues. I've been, name something I haven't been addicted to: smoking, drugs, alcohol, shopping, so for me, I guess food, I guess that was something to replace, you know, and especially once I became healthy. When I say healthy, when I started moving into this whole, you know, dieting world, health world, weight loss world, food became a huge part of my life, but it wasn't a part of my life, if that makes sense. Anybody who has been into weight loss and whatever, you know, it's always in your head all the time. What am I eating? What am I going to eat to stay full? Blah, blah, blah. So it's a constant thing in your head. But I wasn't buying big cheesecakes anymore. I wasn't buying, you know, blocks of chocolate, chips, whatever. I wasn't buying the food that was masking my problems. I wasn't drinking anymore, which was masking my problems. I wasn't smoking anymore, which was masking my problems. I had nowhere else to run. If you've watched my story on finding freedom, you'll probably, or my sobriety story, you'll probably hear that I had a lot of baggage. I was carrying so much baggage. I was full of hurt, I was full of pain, I was full of resentments, I was full of anger. And I was so angry, and I'd try sometimes just to pretend that I wasn't, you know, but so many resentments came out, and I was bitter, you know. There was so many things that was wrong in my life. So what would I do to hide all that baggage and so to stop it from surfacing up? I'd buy things, because that was the addiction I had left. And you know, my shopping was shocking. It was really shocking, and I would get a massive high. And the problem with me was, once I'd open the doors to buy, say, a dress, that then gave me permission to buy a pair of shoes, a t-shirt, you know, a new pair of pajamas, whatever else that went with it. And you know, I'd get that high, and then I'd get home and I'd hide the bag. Sometimes I found bags weeks later, and I forgot I even bought that. And I would hide the bag, and then I felt the same again, empty. I was trying to use shopping as a way to suppress my pain, and it wasn't working. I was becoming more and more out of control. I had accumulated a lot of debt. I had to then work more and more hours to pay my debt, to keep it, you know, all rotating, because nothing changes at home. You still got to eat, you still got to pay your household bills and everything else. And I kept running up this credit card. And my biggest problem was, whilst I was ringing up my credit card and I'd make repayments on it, as soon as I'd make the repayment, I'd go and click it back up again, and I'd go and buy something else. So it was just this ongoing thing. Then I met eBay. And so I'd start selling stuff, like, for, you know, a fraction of what I'd buy them for, and then I'd buy more. It was just ongoing. So it was a pretty bad addiction, shocking addiction. Actually, I must say, out of all the addictions I've had, it was one of the worst addictions, because it led me to a lot of debt. And I was at a point where I thought, wow, I'm going to be stuck paying my credit card off for the rest of my life. And I really did. I thought, oh my God, what have I done? And I'd think that, what have I done? And then I'd go out and I'd spend something else. Well, I made a decision one day. I said, you know what, I can't keep going on like this. So I started little by little getting rid of stuff. And believe me, even before I was leaving, I was getting rid of stuff, because I just had so much stuff. It was overwhelming. People think, oh my God, like, I'd say I've got nothing to wear, and like my family would be like, are you serious? Because they knew my sickness. But what people don't understand is, when you've got so many belongings, it's overwhelming, and it actually becomes hard, and you feel like you're drowning in all your clothing. And I was like, what am I going to wear? What am I going to wear? It was just an ongoing thing. I would look at it all and I'd go, and I didn't feel good about it. I felt horrible about it, and it was embarrassing. I'd have people, you know, so many people used to comment and say, wow, you always dress so beautifully. But people would comment too and say, wow, Jade, I've never seen you in the same outfit twice. I mean, that's shocking. It really, really is shocking. And I think now where I've got like only a few outfits with me, and I'm traveling, and it's so nice. I don't have to make big decisions in the morning. I'm not overwhelmed. The only time I get overwhelmed is I think, oh my God, I've got to get some washing done. So I've got some clean clothing to re-wear, and it's so nice to re-wear things and say, you know what, I know what I look like in that, and that's okay, that's cool. And I'm getting better and better and better at this whole thing, so that's cool too. So how did I get out of debt, and how did I stop my addiction? Well, I started to earn extra amount of money than I ordinarily did, and I made a decision, wow, this is a lot of extra money. I'm going to put this completely off my credit card, and I'm not going to touch my credit card again. And I think it was the fact that I was earning this extra money, and I just, for some reason, I'd healed a lot mentally, emotionally. I'd overcome all my I'd let a lot out that I was suppressing, and something inside me said, Jade, this is your chance. This is your chance. You've been given a chance to be free. And my dream was to be able to get overseas and live overseas, and I thought it would never happen because I owed so much money. And I honestly thought, man, I owe so much money. How am I ever going to get out of debt? And through the grace of God, I was given this opportunity, and every extra amount of money I earned, I put straight off my credit card. I didn't touch it. I just pretended it didn't come, because I figured, and because it was paying off my credit card and I could see substantial amounts of money coming off, the money that I used to go and spend on clothing, ridiculous amounts on clothing, I started putting off my credit card. And bit by bit by bit, all of a sudden I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God, it's possible, it's possible, it's going to be possible. And, you know, then it became possible, and I started saving. I'd paid off my credit cards, and I started saving, and I started selling off my clothing and putting that money into my bank account for traveling. And I just kept working and working and saving and saving and saving. I said, you know what, it's happening. I'm going overseas. I'm going to be able to do this. But I honestly believe, and I had extensive counselling, and I had to let go of my baggage. And I say this quite often because I was replacing every addiction with another addiction my whole life, because I didn't let go of my hurt, my resentments, my anger. And I forgave people. I let go of my resentments. I let go of my anger. And that's why I say I'm free. I'm free from debt. I'm free from addictions. And I'm free, and I can go anywhere I want, anytime. I'm free. And for me, living free mentally is number one. Is just number one. But two, to be free of addictions, for somebody who has suffered addiction after addiction my whole life, and that's why I've got such a great understanding of addictions. I get it, and it's horrible when you've just got so many demons, and that's why I preach to people, go and get help. Get help. Unload the baggage, let it go, and you'll be so amazed as to what you can achieve in your life. And I know everything and anything is possible because I am possible, and so are you. So I'm going to leave it there. There's my little story. I hope it helped. I hope it helped to let you know. I tell you something, there is not one outfit in the world that is worth what I'm feeling now. Free. What I'm going to do in the next week, I'm going to put a video together on releasing your resentments, forgiveness, unloading your burdens, all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to put a whole video together. It'll probably be about 3 different videos to help you to reach your goals, whether they're health goals, whether they're financial goals, whether they're travel goals. I don't know. I don't know what your goals are. But I do know that these things have helped me, and I want to give you guys the tools to help you. So that's it for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you can relate to anything I'm talking about, leave a comment below. I love to hear from you. Subscribe to my channel, and remember, most importantly, love life and live free. Bye for now.
You fake, every claim you stake, every single